was always going to be difficult for a rookie safety to start life well in the NFL on this Chicago Bears team, but I believe Jaquan Brisker really put a good step forward in the beginning to his NFL career. This Chicago Bears team was largely centered around obviously Justin Fields, their quarterback, and what he can become in the future. A lot of that run game was obviously heavily talked about, and on the defensive side, it was a very, very poor defense that gave up a lot of points to almost every team. And at times, Brisker in particular did get exposed at different points in the season, but what he did show is a genuine desire to hit a bloke hard, tackle consistently, and just show genuine competitive juice that you wouldn't really see from many rookies across the league. Jaquan Brisker does what everyone wants to see out of a strong safety, and that's hit blokes hard, as I mentioned before. On top of this, he was also part of many blitz packages and actually recorded 4 sacks in his debut campaign as a safety. While he is a little bit rough around the edges, if I was a Bears fan, I would be very happy at the prospect of seeing Jaquan Brisker on my defense for a few years to come. If you tuned into the Hard Knocks series done on the Detroit Lions for the preseason of last season, then you know exactly who Malcolm Rodriguez is, or more commonly known Rodrigo, the linebacker out of Detroit, the 6th round rookie. And it's his story is the exact reason why I've chosen him as my underrated player for this team, because that 6th round pick is usually not someone who gets to start in the NFL from day dot. Malcolm Rodriguez is a great story of continued grind and grit even once he made the NFL. Defying the odds completely as a 6th round rookie, Rodrigo beat out the likes of other veterans and even players taken ahead of him in that position from the same draft to start for the Detroit Lions, which a defense that really wasn't too good for the majority of this season, but that's not the point with this pick. A bit undersized, but that does not deter him. Rodrigo is that classic underdog story that I'm really keen to see what he can do in his second year in the NFL. Now with my pick for the Packers, I might be cheating a little bit because Keyshawn Nixon is by no means at the top of the Green Bay Packers corner room list, but he is, however, after last season's accomplishments, probably on top of everyone's radar in terms of kick and punt returns. If not, he's very close. Keyshawn Nixon is absolutely electric when it comes to these returns, and last season he averaged 30 yards per kick return and 25 yards per punt return. Obviously, this was also boosted by that 105-yard run for a touchdown from a kick return, but above all else, he is a solid contributor on the other side of the special teams for the defense, making stops there. So while he's not the most complete cornerback on the defense, as a special teams performer, I had to put Keyshawn Nixon's name forward as an underrated player for the Green Bay Packers. My pick for the Minnesota Vikings is another former Cardinal, which just goes to show how much talent we've lost over the more recent seasons. Unfortunately for Murphy, he only managed just over half a season last year due to injury, but this is one of those guys that probably showed his peak the year before. In 2021, he really displayed an ability to play as that outside corner, as well as consolidating his solidarity as a very effective slot corner, which is what he probably was brought in, drafted as. Minnesota Vikings have been crying out for a number of years now for effective cornerback play. They had Patrick Peterson, which was a great addition for a couple of years, but obviously he's moved on to the Steelers. Outside that, they've really struggled. So I think this upcoming season, Byron Murphy's underrated and underappreciated attributes will be on full display for this Vikings team.